Glued to the TV, ready for this tutorial. Fantastic. Okie dokie. So let's start off. Before we dive into these different projects, I wanted to mention another project that allows you to support the Ethereum ecosystem and help some of the smaller projects, because you got to remember, Ethereum isn't a for-profit company. They don't have profits to keep hiring every year and paying staff. That's kind of why they did the raise initially, and they've got a treasury, and they don't like overspending, because that's got to last them, in theory, kind of as many years as they need to get it off the ground. So, excuse me, one of the new projects is called Gitcoin Grants, and this allows you to fund certain projects. Now, this is one I'll mention later, the Ethereum push notification service. So a lot of what we have at the moment is transactions on the blockchain, and it'd be nice to get notifications, wouldn't it? But that's not really how it works at the moment. So this will be integrated with a lot more things. So you'll be able to get push notifications for when maybe, the price gets down to a certain level, or, your artwork sells, or, you get something happens in Decentralised, there's a conference, more and more things that are happening. You can get notifications for whatever that is in the world of DeFi. So that's an example of something where you could say, hey, I can come over here. There's been 1,400 DAI, which is the $1 stablecoin, 166 contributors. And what this algorithm likes, because it's got a big pool of funds that are like a treasury, and when someone donates to this, when they see lots of people donating smaller amounts, it says, well, we're going to dip into that treasury and make sure this is going to get funded. So if someone donates one DAI, at the moment, they actually get $141. So it's pretty amazing stuff. And as you see here, they've got $14,000 as a bit of an estimate for how much the big treasury pool of funds is going to actually match these donations of $1,000. So really, really awesome. And if we have a look at some of the top funded grants, let's just have a look here. Media stuff like Bankless. I think we're on here somewhere as well. Bright ID, IDs and digital identity is something that's really important going forward. The white hat hackers, so they're basically the good guys, for example. So they're getting around $30,000 at the moment. If I can just quickly find our grants. We are one of the smaller ones. So that's Anthony and the guys at ETH Hub, as you see there, $16,000 being matched from $2,000 of donations. So, that's a lot of money. This is in US dollars. And at the moment, I think DeFi Dad 19,000. I think basically, wow, look at that. Bankless, the guys that have their YouTube and podcast, they're getting $52,000 this month. And basically, I think at Nuggets News, we've got a couple of $100 in the last few grants. And thanks to one or two people, we're up towards $1,000 this time around. But it's hard being in Australia compared to these US guys that kind of all know each other and donate to each other. Here's ours at the moment. So as you can see, we've had 1,000 donated and only 383 from that pool of funds that we're getting, compared to some of those others I just mentioned that are getting, $10, $20, $40,000. So guys, if you can, head over, donate one DAI, and that $1 can go a long way for any of your favorite projects. All right. Okay, so let's get into it. To begin with, you want to know these websites that have got the list of all the different types of projects in the DeFi world. So DeFi Prime is one of them. You can click on things like projects and then asset management tools. This has a list of all the different wallets, for example. So that's got different categories there. The other one is DeFi Pulse. Fantastic. We can organize them by the amount of funds that are locked up in these different DeFi protocols. Is it lending? Is it a decentralized exchange? What are the derivative projects? How are they changing? All the different assets that are in this DeFi world at the moment. So that's a really good one as well. Have a play around with that. We won't go into it tonight because we've got a lot to get through. The other one is CoinGecko. You guys know that I think that they've surpassed CoinMarketCap in terms of being the better place to check all this sort of info. You can use things like their DeFi tab to only look at the DeFi coins. Farms will bring up all the different yield farming opportunities that are out there at the moment. One thing I do just want to mention is as you look down this list, you'll find that there are certain types of assets like Wrapped Nexus Mutual is a separate coin to Nexus Mutual, even though it's the same basic project. And I know people get confused, but the term wrapping you're going to hear a lot because that is what we refer to as putting something in making it an Ethereum token. So wrapped Bitcoin basically means, well, we've turned Bitcoin into an Ethereum token. Then you've got things like Ren Bitcoin, and that just means that the Ren protocol is using their technology to turn Bitcoin again into an Ethereum token. So lots of different assets that you'll see there with prefixes like SUSD, well, that's the synthetics version of a US dollar stablecoin. You might see one with A here or D. That's just the different protocols, RDI. So just be aware of that, and it'll all start to make sense as we go through the tutorial here. But before we get into that, I do want to recommend that if you're using all these different apps, it's very easy for you to be traced and tracked and have very little privacy. And remember, your address is public. So if you use it once, it kind of connects your name and your identity to it. So then if you reuse it, people can basically see everything that you've done from that point on. So I would encourage you for all the different websites and exchanges you're using to stay secure and use things like a password manager. So you've got really long different passwords for everything, because at the moment we've seen lots of hacks, and as soon as your password is out there from one company that gets hacked or email, then these things are up there on the dark web or even just the normal internet. You can actually search your email address or your name, and you often find that your details are out there. And if you use the same password for everything, it's very easy to start to break into all your accounts. So on top of that, obviously two-factor authentication. When you log into an exchange, in the settings, it'll have an option and you can scan a QR code like this, install that app, and this will link it to your phone. And each time you want to use a different exchange or whatever it is, you'll be forced to get this number that is different every time. It's like a password that's constantly changing. And on the screen of your phone, it'll have the list of all your different apps, but I haven't got a good example there. Doesn't matter too much. You guys have seen this before. I'm sure you've all used two-factor authentication. Anyway, I hope you have. The other thing just to mention was the tutorials we've got. So if you're a beginner, please take advantage and look over all these. There's no excuse not to learn how to use a crypto wallet and how to store it yourself these days. And too many people have just bought some crypto and it's on an exchange. Look what happened last week. KuCoin are one of the bigger exchanges and they got hacked. So the first concept to understand, and I'll link these videos down below later, but if you want to go over these in more detail, I'm going to encourage you to do that, because if you don't understand how a blockchain works yet, that is just something that you have to understand. So you'll see these numbers and A going to B. You need to understand all this stuff, because once you do, it's going to help you understand how to use all these apps and not panic when a transaction is not showing up. Now, the next point I want you to understand is how a password is how an account and a private key and a public key is generated. So when you start your own Bitcoin wallet and fire one up or create one, sometimes it will do that from 12 words. Sometimes it will do that from 24 words. Other apps won't even have words. They'll just use a random number generator or whatever it is to generate a private key. And that private key generates what's called a public key. And that public key can generate a Bitcoin address. And good wallets will actually use a different address for every transaction. So when you spend that money, in the world of Bitcoin, you actually hand over all the money out of your wallet and you always get all the change back. And good wallets will take all that change back to a new address. And you don't have to worry about trying to keep note of that or anything like that, because the same private key, the same backup words, the same password, if you choose to put a password in as well, that is all the same thing if you ever need to recover it or reboot it or restore it in another app. And this BIP39, it's kind of like a standard that all or the majority of good wallets use these days. So it doesn't matter if you use a ledger and then you go to set up a wallet on your mobile with a different app, you can still plug in those 12 words and it'll recover your wallet. Or you can plug in your 12 words to MetaMask if you want to use the same wallet. But I'd encourage you not to do that because you don't want all your funds from your ledger in your MetaMask account, for example. So that's what all these different things look like there, the technical behind the scenes. Now, just be careful because another thing that we've seen become really common again recently are these phishing scams, where you'll go to a website or you'll search for MetaMask, or the hackers will know that certain websites are related to crypto and they'll put these pop-ups on the crypto sites where you'll get something pop up like this and it'll say, hey, you need to restore your wallet, something's gone wrong, type in your words. And I've said it 100 times, 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. Never type in your backup phrase, your seed words, or your private key online, ever. Okay, no matter what. No matter if you think you're talking to the CEO that's helping you in the Telegram, no matter if something pops up on the website asking you to do it, there is no reason to ever type in your private key or your words ever. The only time you will ever do it is when you've lost your wallet and you want to restore your wallet yourself on your own computer or typing it into a new ledger device. But every week I just hear of these people that are saying, they seem friendly, or the website looked real, or it wasn't my private key, it was only my backup words. It doesn't matter. If they've got either of that, that's all they need, and all your crypto's gone and it's theirs. All right, so MetaMask. MetaMask is an Ethereum wallet that is embedded in your browser. So I use Brave, but Brave is just basically like another version of the Google Chrome browser. Now, most people know how to buy crypto on an exchange, and on an exchange, they have your private keys. They have the backup phrase. Most of the time they'll give you an address, so you'll be able to see your Bitcoin address because you can deposit Bitcoins to there, or when you take it out of the exchange, you'll see it come from your address. But basically, they're in charge of your funds, not you. So when you generate a wallet here, a MetaMask, you can write down those 12 words and keep them safe. Don't keep them online anywhere. But this is going to generate a wallet, and what you can do is very easily generate more accounts. So I use multiple. So I'll have one for Gitcoin grants, for like I'm going to use today for tutorials. And then I might have another wallet for Decentralised or for gaming, because I don't want them to be linked, maybe for privacy reasons, or because I just want to have my funds separate so I know what they're each for. You can just keep on creating more accounts and you can give them names, or you can leave them as these defaults. It's all very, very easy to do, guys. You can connect your hardware wallet. In settings, one thing that I would encourage you to learn is how to send transactions that get stuck. So in settings, you are going to want to be able to type in what we call a nonce, and I'll get to that in a second, because so often one of the biggest things we hear is that people go to send a transaction, they don't put in enough gas and it gets stuck, and then they panic and they try and send another one. And what that does, it creates a chain of transactions. Going back to our blockchain that we just spoke about before, you're creating transactions one after another before the first one's being approved, and that basically creates a traffic jam a lot of the time, particularly when the network's really busy and stuck. And that, if you don't know what you're doing, it's basically, some people can come back a day later and it still hasn't gone through because the network is only processing transactions that are paying, say, $50 in gas because it's so busy, and you accidentally paid $5 because you thought, I don't want to pay $50, and now your transaction is stuck. So there's a couple of things you can do. When you send it, you can click on resend, and you can put in a high gas amount. So let's just say we want to send some Ethereum. It can save some of your recent transactions here and your addresses for you, and you can name those, transfer between your accounts. You can scan a QR code if you've got a camera. So all those things are possible. Otherwise, you can just paste your address there. Then you want to type in how much ETH you want to send. So let's say I want to send just 0.1 ETH. What we can do now is adjust that gas price. I wouldn't worry too much about the gas limit, but what we can see here, this chart that it's showing us is saying you can pay more here and get your transaction accepted faster or slower. So here we can see faster. Does it have the time scale there? It doesn't quite have it. But basically what it's telling you is the fastest you can possibly get your transaction included would be paying around 80 gas, and that would be around 27 seconds. Whereas if you are happy to wait maybe a minute or two, and I'd always take this with a grain of salt. It's not the most accurate thing. You can pay slightly less. The other day, let's bring up ETH Gas Station. The other day, the gas prices went up to like 500, 600. And the way we measure them is called Gwei. That's just like a unit of Ethereum. You can think of that as. So this is very, very cheap at the moment. This is the cheapest it's been in weeks. Wow, we're down to 50 Gwei. This was up above 500 the other day. So yeah, use this website. Take notice of those numbers and don't be a cheapskate. So that's the basics of MetaMask. The other thing that you will have to note, down here, different assets, you can click activity and it will tell you the last thing that you tried to do. If that isn't successful, for example, you'll see here, it'll tell you that it's still pending or something is stuck. It'll have a button that you can click on that says speed up or cancel. And to change what it's doing, you will have to spend more gas fees. That's one way to do it. The other way you can change it is look at this thing called the nonce. So this is basically, it just goes up, it counts up, and it's like the number of transactions you've done. So this is the 10th transaction from this wallet, for example. And if I need to go and resend and change a transaction, I can say, whoops, I sent it to the wrong address, or it is stuck and I need to resend that transaction. So you can go back, do the same thing again, go to send the same transaction, click on advanced options, and if you scroll, let's click on save. Yep, and is it going to give me the options here for? It should be able to let me choose the nonce. I'm not sure why it is not letting me choose that. Because I haven't typed in any Ethereum amount yet. Is that right? Oh, next screen. Yeah, here we go. So if this was replacing something that I just done, it's going to send my 11th transaction. So I just type 10 there. And that way it's basically putting the number 10 transaction out to the blockchain again. And the miners will see two number 10s and they'll say, well, there's one that's got a higher gas fee. We'll process that one first. And if you've got lots of transactions that are all stuck in a chain, you'll have to go back and try and replace the first one, and then you might have to try and replace the second one again and do it that way. But if you get into that situation, you can click on the transaction, you can open that up and view it on the blockchain on Etherscan, like we just spoke about, and you'll see the transactions and what they're doing and how they're stuck. So you'll be able to see on your address, oh, hey, look, this one still says it's pending. And if you click on that, it'll tell you the nonce. So if you've got three that are all saying pending here, it'll say nonce 10, 11, 12 when you click on those and open them up in the Block Explorer. So again, being able to understand what is going on helps you solve your own problem. So I hope that makes sense. But let's push on. We do have a tutorial on how to use MetaMask. Other things I'd recommend, I want to mention under our partners here, NordVPN. So this is something that scrambles your IP address. So again, people can, or hackers and bad people can attach your IP address, which is like the location of your computer, you can think of it as, and they can say, well, that's Alex's Ethereum address at that computer IP address, and start to build a profile about who you are and what you do online. So they're the different ways to try and keep your privacy, I guess. I've done a tutorial on how to actually make your Ethereum private. And what you can do here is generate a new address that no one knows. And this Tornado Cash Mixer, it sends the Ethereum to your address, but you can't follow it on the blockchain. So people will see that your transaction went into the Tornado mixer, but they don't see where it came out. So you've made yourself digitally invisible. You've broken the paper trail effectively. So yeah, check that tutorial out as well if you're interested. By now you should have all used MyEtherWallet. This is very confusing because it's not a wallet, and so many people think that they're using this and they think it's creating a wallet for them, and sometimes it does, but it's creating it on your computer in a way that isn't really meant to be used like that. So I know that's confusing, but the way you should use MetaMask is use it to interact with the blockchain by plugging in your hardware wallet or by using your MetaMask. You shouldn't generate a wallet that just has the private keys on your computer, that's just stored them, on your desktop or whatever it is. And a lot of people get caught up doing that. Okay, so just be aware. And I'd always encourage you to use things like that password to have an extra layer of protection. For those that don't know, sorry, I'll get to that in just a second. That's my tutorial on how to use the Ledger Nano X, which I'd also recommend, because that allows you to have lots of different apps. So the old ledgers used to only let you have, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. It wouldn't let you have lots of different types of wallets. Alrighty. So for those that don't know, MyEtherWallet's had a little bit of an upgrade since I did that tutorial. That's how you can click on Access Wallet, all the different options. As it says here, not recommended software. That's if someone accidentally creates a wallet using the website and it just stores it on your computer. That is not what you want. So you want to use, your hardware wallet most of the time. MyEtherWallet and MyCrypto, the team has actually had a bit of a fight and they went their own ways. So these are basically the same for all intents and purposes. So another cool little feature that is making things easier in future is the Ethereum name service. So you can choose your name or whatever you like, favorite words, .eth. And in the future, that'll get rid of all those long addresses that we just looked at. So you can even have subdomains. So nuggetsnews.alex.eth. And then I can have for all my staff, they can have their subdomain under the Nuggets News name. And these aren't too bad. So, you can get these for $10 or so. And obviously all the cool words like Ethereum.eth, they've all been sold to the team and early bidders. But this is a very cool service that I covered for our members, I think 2 years ago. And plenty of you have been squatting on all the good domain names. But a few wallets I want to mention. So these Web3 wallets are an all-in-one wallet. So they're not just a crypto wallet. What they do is allow you to interact with all the different Ethereum apps because they've got your Ethereum address and assets all built in. Now, something like Argent is actually good for beginners because it's kind of got this recovery and protection where it asks you lots of different questions and it gets lots of information. So there's lots of ways for you to recover your private key and your password if you ever lose your phone. So it's kind of like a bit of a middle ground for people as well. So that's the Argent wallet. A few others that are nice and easy to use that let you interact with all the different dApps very easily. They've got these inbuilt, like what we call dApp browsers. Trust Wallet is one. Dharma, they're paying gas fees at the moment, or they were last time I checked. So yeah, you could use Uniswap, and they're still paying gas fees for you. So this is only on mobile at the moment. Enjin have got a really awesome wallet. Obviously, they're right into the gaming space, but that'll store all your different coins and NFTs and that as well. Now, for example, here, when you download it, let's say that you have a MetaMask wallet and you want to pair that with your mobile, you can import a wallet here and just type in the same 12 words as you set this up with, and it'll kickstart that wallet and all the addresses that you've created under it as well. So starting to see how easy and how this all clips together. Monolith is another one, a bit of an all-in-one DeFi account. Coinbase. Now, Coinbase, obviously they have the exchange, but Coinbase have actually got a wallet, which is a DeFi wallet. So it's not actually Coinbase that have your keys. So you can set up a Coinbase wallet and you've actually got custody of your assets. So this is... I did a write-up about this the other day because it's interesting. You think about Binance have got Binance Chain and now Binance Smart Chain. FTX have got Serum and their own blockchain. But Brian Armstrong and Coinbase have always been big supporters of everything Ethereum have done. So they're kind of building their infrastructure to support Ethereum and all the decentralized stuff without launching their own blockchain. Maybe some would say Binance are being a little bit greedy. Now, another one is Gnosis Safe. So this is like a multi-sig technology that you can use. And what that means is you can give your wife a password, maybe one of your parents, maybe one of your best friends, and you can create a wallet that needs 2 out of 4 people to come and sign to get the funds. So you can think of this like almost like a bank vault, and inbuilt with all the dApps again. But I really like that idea, and you can see some of the big projects here. This is how they secure their treasuries. They'll have 5 of 7 of the team need to sign with their keys. All 5 or all 7 of them will have their own ledger with their own private key, but 5 of them need to come in or sign in at the same time and sign a transaction. So very cool stuff. And again, they've got web wallet, desktop, and mobile. Now we're getting into these, I guess, what we'd call... they bring everything together for you. So aggregate all the different dApps and wallets that you're using. So this is one called Zapper. I'm not going to give you a full tutorial on this right now, but what this does is basically, let's click on this and give you a bit of a demo. It'll show you everything that you've got in your dashboard. So if you've got any loans, if there's anything that you're earning interest on, if you're trading, any of the positions you've got on, if you're yield farming, all your different wallets. So it's all in one interface here. Really, really cool stuff. It'll actually let you exchange different assets with I'm not sure if this is using Uniswap, but it's got a built-in exchange, built-in explorer. Yeah, really cool. Very, very easy to use. It actually will save you gas with a lot of what you're doing. So that's Zapper. Another one is Zerion. Basically the same thing. Let's just see if it's going to bring it up here. This one's got interface. I think I prefer Zapper's interface here. This is going to be a little bit slow to load. Okay. Bad luck, Zerion. I'll give you 5 more seconds, and if you don't load, we're going to skip on past you. Okay. Bow. You're lost, Zerion. DeFi Saver is another one. The different apps along the side there, you can see what you're doing, your total portfolio. Liquidity Vision, same thing again. This is more for your the yields, the pools that you're currently depositing into, which we'll get into in just a second. Now we get into the world of DEXes. So this was basically the first thing that you could do in 2017 was exchange assets. Why isn't Kyber working for me? Okay, let's click on swap token. So this is KyberSwap. No, it's not liking that either. Okay, here we go. So this is KyberSwap, where you just type in what you want. Up the top, it's going to ask you to sign in and you can create a profile. Now, some of these websites will have the actual website like Kyber, but then they'll have the KyberDEX, and it's a different, it's like an app that'll pop up almost, a different interface. So you can sign into the website and you can kind of have an account, if you like to think of it that way. But what's really important is just the connecting your wallet. And this is the thing that you're going to have to do every time that you interact with any of these. And the apps will remember which ones you've given permission to. So I can click on Connect Wallet. Let's see which one I want to use here. I'll just use my MetaMask, for example. Let's scroll down. I'm going to use Gitcoin for all the demos I do tonight. it's going to say, hey, are you happy to give this permission? And click on connect. And so now this is talking to my inbuilt Ethereum wallet. Now, if I'm the first time I've used this and I'm a newbie, I've got to get my Ethereum address and click on that. I go back to my exchange where I've just bought my Ethereum or some DAI stablecoin or whatever asset it is, and I just click on send, and my Ethereum will show up here, and then I'm good to go. And if I want to change some Ethereum, let's say I want to swap 0.5 Ethereum for some Kyber, or maybe I'm worried that the market's going to fall and I want to swap over to some DAI. Let's click on 100%. So I want to sell all my ETH in this wallet over to DAI. That's what that is doing there. It's got some advanced options like before where we can choose the different gas that we want to pay, the slippage. So, hey, if you're doing a big order and the price slips by more than 3%, are you happy with that, or do you want to cancel the transaction? So a few little advanced features, but that's basically how most of these different DEXes work. They recently put in this feature, which is a limit order, so a bit like an exchange where you can actually set the price, because a lot of these DEXes, you're just swapping one for another at the current rate or the current ratio of the two assets. But some people do like to type in a price and say, hey, I want to wait for synthetics to fall down to this price or to this ratio against Ethereum, and then I'll buy it. So that's kind of how that works there. Another old exchange is Bancor. Let's see if this is going to come up. Apologies, guys. I think I've got the sniffles off Louis. I hope that's not too bad into the mic. So Bancor. Okay, so this is a fantastic exchange. One that has a different mechanism to keep their pools and their liquidity, and they've recently had a huge upgrade on the way they do things. So you might be hearing more about this one because it was one of the first and now it's become one of the least used, but maybe it is going to bounce back in future. But same thing again, yeah, they'll let you create a wallet, but again, that I don't like these because beginners come here and they think, oh, I'm creating a wallet, I'm kind of doing this on the website, and that's not really how it works. You can sign in and create an account, but that's not what you want to do. You don't want to be trusting these websites. You always want to be connecting it to your own wallet wherever possible. This lets you sort of verify yourself or sign in through Facebook or Telegram or phone number. I'm not really a fan of that. I want people to learn how to do it with their Ledger and with their MetaMask. Maker. Okay, so this is one of the first tutorials I ever did back in the day when I taught you guys how to create your own CPD loan and how to borrow money. So I won't run through that again today. I've got a detailed tutorial on how you can do that. But man, this is bringing back memories. Okay, enough nostalgia. Let's push on. So the next one is Uniswap. You've all heard about this one lately. The same as like we just spoke about with Kyber. As long as you've connected your MetaMask, and it'll say, hey, you've got this other account connected, but you haven't actually connected your Gitcoin account yet. So you're happy to do that. And I can click on connect, and now it's connected and it is talking to my account that I want. And I can change it up here. So I just open these up and click on one of these others if I want it to be interacting and talking to that other account. So again, let's just type in 0.1 ETH. What other tokens do you want to change to? Type it in. If it doesn't have it here, then you might have to change the lists. So there's a few different lists here. I think Uniswap and 1inch have got the biggest lists. Now, if it doesn't have the token in any of the lists, or when you type it in, what you can do is go over to CoinGecko, for example, and click on the token you want. So let's say it's wrapped Nexus Mutual. Scroll down here to markets. This is all the different exchanges that it's on. So you'll see there, for example, Binance, but up above it's got Uniswap. And then here we can see the wrapped Nexus Mutual Ethereum pair on Uniswap. And if we click that pair, it's going to open that up for you and take you straight to the official Uniswap. It's going to say, hey, this isn't a token that we know. And you're going to say, that's okay. I understand that. I came from CoinGecko. So again, that's how you can do it there. Nice and easy. Now, when you do this, I should mention this. So when you do this with any of these apps, it's going to ask you to do a couple of signings or approvals. So if I click swap at this price and I'm happy with all that, firstly, you should never use all your Ethereum because you've always got to save some for gas. And most people get themselves in a real pickle because once you've used all your Ethereum to buy another coin, you can't go back to Ethereum and say, oh, whoops, because you need Ethereum, you need to pay the fees to do that. So that's how you get yourself in a bit of trouble. But when I click swap, it's going to ask me to approve like Uniswap interacting with this contract. And that's almost like part one. And then it's going to do some thinking and it's going to say, well, I need to go swap the Ethereum, maybe into wrapped Ethereum or to the DAI stablecoin, and then go to Nexus Mutual. So you might have to click confirm or sign a couple of times. And when you're doing those that have a couple of steps, they're going to cost a little bit more than if you're just going straight from ETH to DAI, which might be a really common trade with lots of liquidity. When you send Ethereum to another Ethereum address, just as a general transaction, for example, that doesn't cost as much gas as when you're sending a random token and you're swapping it with another random token. So the more complex thing you're doing, the more you're going to pay there, basically. The other tab here is pool. And this is where you can add liquidity, or you can even create your own pair. So if you've created your own token, so let's take Red Fox for example. So I think they're making the switch, and you've heard them talk about how they're going to go to an ERC20 token as well because they love the DEXes and the DeFi. So someone from the Red Fox team will come over here and click on create a pair. They'll put in the details of that token, the contract address, the name and all those details, and then that'll create a new pair. And this is why there's a lot of scammers on here, because beginners might go to Uniswap next week and go to buy the Red Fox token. They'll type in Red Fox, but there might be 5 scammers that have created a pair and called it that, and they've used the same logo. So that's how a lot of people are getting scammed at the moment. Add liquidity. So what we're going to have to do whenever we add liquidity for a certain token is add both of these coins. So it's going to want you to put in an equal amount of Ethereum and USDC, for example, here. So if I click on max Ethereum, it's going to say, hey, you don't have enough USDC to put that ratio in. But if I do it the other way around, it's going to say, yeah, you've got $76 worth of ETH. And you can approve that. That's going to be one transaction. Then it's going to ask me to approve Uniswap interacting with my Ethereum as well as the USDC. And then you're going to click on supply. And that is going to put it into the Uniswap pool. And you're going to start to earn fees. So it's going to tell you the share of the pool. So obviously it's a pretty small amount there. But that is how it works. That's how you can contribute liquidity. And then you can come back here to this page and you'll click on remove liquidity. Now, a lot of these sort of things are going to cost you, $10, $20 to do. So this is where it's only really worth doing if you've got more than probably $1,000 or even more than that, really. And a lot of the whales are doing this. But, there's no point coming in here and earning $10 of interest on $100 in a month. But it costs you $20 to put it in, and it costs you $20 to take it out. So that's kind of the problem that we're facing at the moment. But yeah, that's the basics of how to add liquidity. Now, a lot of the time when you do that, these different protocols are giving you a reward. So not only will you get some fees, but you might get some Uniswap tokens, or the governance tokens of these local platforms. They might even give you another token like the ETH USDC. You'll get another token that represents the 2 tokens that you put in. And again, on the Blockchain Explorer, you can follow that. You can see what's happening. You can look at it in your wallet. Hopefully you're starting to understand all these different bits and pieces coming together. Let's push on though. So another 0x is another relayer, so a little bit different to a decentralized exchange. But they have come out with different products now that sit on top of their protocol. So things like Radar Relay, I've done a tutorial on that. I won't cover it now. But Matcha is another one that's building on top of 0x. And you can just type in the thing that you want to swap. So, hey, I want to swap some Ethereum for some DAI. Just click on that and it's going to bring up this screen. So really big, nice, easy, friendly. Let's just do 10 DAI to Ethereum, and it's we got the best price from Uniswap, so it's going to find the best rate for you. Yeah, really nice, friendly interface. I do like Matcha. So connect the wallet. It's going to I'm going to have to connect my wallet like I did with all of them before it's going to allow me to do that. But that is how that works. So scroll down, Gitcoin, next, connect. Too easy. And that will remember me. Next time I come and use this site, it'll have that automatically there. 1inch is another one that is an aggregator. So just like we saw then, it's going to tell me, well, where is the best price from? All these different exchanges here, how much I'm going to pay gas fees from the different exchanges. You can choose which ones you actually don't want to use if you wanted to for whatever reason. But yeah, very, very easy to use. That'll find the best prices for you. That's 1inch.exchange. This is another, I guess, rip-off of Uniswap, Mooniswap, by the guys at 1inch Exchange. So again, they can let you swap tokens and they might have different tokens, but you can also do the pools again, add liquidity. That you'll get the Mooniswap token at the moment. So you're starting to see how these are all very, very similar in the way that they work. dYdX, so this is a decentralized exchange for trading. So just like we trade our Bitcoin leverage pairs on BitMEX or FTX, we can trade perpetual swaps on dYdX and do that in a decentralized fashion. So I just connect my wallet, click on MetaMask, click on Gitcoin. Okay, I'm happy for you to interact, and then you'll place your buy order, your collateral. You can choose your leverage. At the moment, it's letting me go up to 10 times leverage, and that is a decentralized leverage trade. And I can put in my limit order. I can put in my stop price, the same as you would on any exchange. So very cool stuff. MCDEX is another one, decentralized trading. So they've got Aave, compound tokens, synthetics, a few more there. Link, so margin trading Link in a decentralized fashion. That is pretty cool. That is really new, that one as well. I think they've also got off-chain liquidity. So there might not be a lot of liquidity there at the moment, but hey, that is cool that you can trade those different coins. The next ones we've got here are the different options. So Hedget. I won't run you through all of these at the moment, but basically being able to, those of you that are options traders that want to put on a long or short position, you do all that just as you would on a normal exchange. Open is another one. They sort of talk about their options as protection. So if you don't understand what a call and a put is in that language, you can think about it here as just saying, hey, I want to buy protection for my Ethereum. Uniswap as well. So they've got Uniswap, they've got synthetics options, balancer, Wi-Fi. I didn't know they've got all those as well at the moment. So that is very cool, being able to buy protection to the upside or the downside and hedge yourself, fully decentralized. Opium Network, another one. I won't talk about that too much. They've got some really advanced products here like CDSs, all sorts of derivatives. So the world of finance is about to be taken over in a big way, and I don't think they see this coming at all. Hedget, that is another options one. I won't run you through that. Cool interface here though, a little bit different to the others. But I know a lot of you don't trade options, so I don't want to spend too much time on that today. But this will show you your profit and loss ratio on the Ethereum price in a nice visual representation. Okay, so now we get into the pools of the different stable coins. Now, stable coins are a really important part of the ecosystem because remember when we had all the tether worries back in the day? Being able to know that each stable coin is always going to be worth $1 and you can go from one to another is a big positive. So at the moment, they've got a couple of pools. They've got Bitcoin pools, stablecoin pools, and you can choose to deposit those assets. So wrapped Bitcoin, have they got a gold pool yet? They were talking about doing a gold pool. I don't think that's obviously up yet. But when they've got a gold pool, for example, just like the stablecoin pool they've got here, you'll be able to come in and deposit, let's say, our friends over at Ainsley Bullion, they've got a gold token. Well, maybe the guys at dYdX have got a gold token, and then the guys at Tether have got Tether Gold. So all the different gold tokens, you can put those in and swap them one for another if you want to. And here's the list of pools down here, sorry. So any of these different pools, you can come and deposit these assets into and earn the yield. And it will tell you the tokens that you get. So obviously you get if you're using the Curve protocol, you get a Curve liquidity pool reward token. Now, there's ways to boost this, like choosing to lock up those coins for a longer period of time to get a higher interest rate. But at the moment, these are the different pools here. And they're basically trying to blend assets to bring some stability to those. So you'll hear things like Y Curve token. And what that means is that someone's putting in these different assets, DAI, USDC, Tether, and they've got the Y Curve token in return. And where this gets complicated with the layers upon layers, there might be another protocol like Synthetics that's actually, they want people to deposit the Y Curve token that they get when they've deposited these other stable coins, because there's traders that want to actually trade the token that they get that has all these other tokens almost underneath it, underpinned it, locked together. You can kind of think of that as. So this is where the names get a little bit long and confusing, but that's how all the Curve pools work. And by depositing those assets, you get a little bit of the fees from all the people that are trading these assets one to another. Swerve is basically a copycat of Curve, the 100% community owned, just like we had SushiSwap and Uniswap. They think that they're doing it fairer. Pickle is another one that's doing a very similar thing with stable coins. Some of these will use different stable coins to others and have slightly different mechanisms. So Pickle is basically saying that they're going to make one coin a lot cheaper than another if it gets out of whack. If there's a big difference, if one goes up to $1.02, they'll increase the reward. So it's trying to get traders to come and deposit the coin, as it says here, off peg bad, on peg good, to always try and tighten up that peg. And then we'll have other traders that'll come on over and they'll try to arbitrage that peg, and they'll get the Pickle reward token, and then they might take their Pickle tokens back over to, let's say, Uniswap. Has that got Pickle listed yet? No. So all these different tokens are in demand from different traders for different reasons. MStable is just another one that is once again doing the baskets of stable coins. We won't get into that. Barbridge is an interesting project that's building out a yield curve. So like Raul and I spoke about the other day, it's all good to have these interest rates, but they fluctuate wildly at the moment. So if we can build what they're calling like a smart bond, and it's almost like a yield curve, so we know, and there's going to be traders that arbitrage and bring a bit of stability to the yield curve, because you don't want to deposit and get 30% one day and then the next day it drops down to 1%, for example. Compound is another one where you can deposit your assets and earn interest. Supply the market with different assets, or you can actually borrow those assets. So it might be cheaper for you to borrow some tokens. You might want to borrow Tether because you need Tether to go back and add some stable coins to the Curve pool, because you already get the Curve reward token, because the Curve reward token is paying you a heap of money in Uniswap. So this is what the degens, the crazy yield farmers that are borrowing here to supply here to get this token here. There's a lot of rewards and yield that you could get from keeping up with all of this, but I know it's complicated. Balancer is one that lets you sort of create your own mix or balance of different assets, almost like a decentralized kind of ETF. So you can swap assets here as well. You can add liquidity to these different pools, and they have different ratios. So someone might want 80% Balancer token, 20% wrapped Ethereum, and that's the pool. And you can see the the volume and the demand for that, and the swap fee. You can start to get an idea of how much that you are going to earn if you deposit to that pool. So yeah, another variant there. Aave down the bottom here. Oh, you can't see that behind me, but this is basically another way just to deposit or borrow. It will let you flick from Uniswap to Aave inbuilt down the bottom here, but you can't quite see that behind me. Sushi Swap. So this was obviously the knockoff of Uniswap that we had. That was the community were behind this, and then the chef, the lead developer, dumped on everyone. So hey, maybe they can get back on track, but that was disappointing. Cream.Finance is another one that is basically doing the same thing but with different assets. So a lot of these, the most common pairs, the stablecoin pairs, will have a lot of demand and liquidity. These guys are trying to change it up a little bit and let people borrow maybe assets and pairs of things that aren't as common, and you're getting the Cream token in reward at the moment. Dodo is another one that's doing the same thing again. Look, all these have all got similar interfaces, slightly different technologies underlying them that you don't really need to understand if you're a beginner. Shroom.Finance, these guys have only got a few coins, I believe. This is creating an incentive to get more liquidity on Uniswap with the Mushroom token. So yes, don't go down this rabbit hole unless you're an advanced user. Based Money, these guys are doing all sorts of funky stuff, creating moon bases and trying to fund projects, getting people to lock up coins. I'm not going to go into this one at the moment because this takes a whole episode. And I'm not, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of a lot of these ones that are doing really extreme concepts that I think the incentive to get involved and do it's going to die down when the reward token dies down. Synthetics, they've got their exchange where you can swap from one to another as well as do your trading and your loans. They've just launched options. They've got a range of assets I think people aren't aware of, like different currency tokens, synthetic gold, a huge range of assets that you can borrow, swap, and trade there. This is Minter, so you can add liquidity. This is where you can stake your coins, claim your rewards, deposit your funds, get your synthetics tokens. These are the different rewards that are on at the moment for the different pools. I won't go into that in any great detail. This is pools.fyi, so this shows you the best rewards at the moment. You can get something crazy like, Sushi are handing out big rewards. Mooniswap have got their rewards. This, it shows you the average 30-day return on, the current 30-day return on equity, but these things don't stay 2,000% for very long, put it that way. But you can get an idea of which pools are paying the highest rates. Yearn.Finance. So this is where it starts to get a bit more automated. So some of these guys like Yearn.Finance and Andre that built it, they basically said, well, people can't keep up with all these and where's the best place to get reward? Let's just let them deposit ETH into our vault and it'll get the best reward for them, and it'll move everyone's funds together so everyone saves on gas fees. So that's basically how these different Yearn.Finance vaults work. You can lock up these coins or the liquidity provider coin that you get given from Curve, and it'll grow that, and sometimes it'll do even more advanced stuff like it'll reinvest the rewards that you get, or it'll actually create a maker position for you, and it'll get the DAI stable coin that you generate and it'll put that into a vault as well. So this is where we're getting compound layers of risk, but layers of higher returns there. APY is another one that does this automatically. That's brand new. I don't think it's even launched properly yet, but that's doing the whole automatic thing for you. Token sets. These are tokens that give you strategies, or the DeFi Pulse Index as we've got it here. So this is like almost an ETF where it's got a basket of assets that you can invest in. The different ratios you can see there. A really good solid mix of 10 or so projects where you can buy that as a ERC20 token. So rather than buy these 10 coins individually, you come over to the sets, you buy the DeFi Pulse token index. And then in future, I'm sure someone will want to have that DeFi Pulse index token on Uniswap, and they'll give you an incentive to do that. So that is just one example of a set. Another example are the trading strategy sets, where basically you'll have things like, if Ethereum is above the 200-day moving average on the chart, I want to be in Ethereum. But if we fall below that, I want the strategy to put me back into a stable coin. And you do that and you just hold the token. It'll be called the Ethereum 200-day moving average token. And you can see how these things have performed. So here's the Ethereum yield farming token, and it will do that automatically for you using things like Uniswap. So the universe of assets and what is possible out here at the moment, and actually programming that to just become an ERC20 token that you can then send and hold on to you on your ledger, it's amazing how far this has all come. UMA, this is allowing you to build synthetic assets. So you might want to create a specific pair. This is, again, for more advanced users, but being able to build maybe Apple shares, trading against Bitcoin, and build whatever pair or synthetic asset that you like. Again, it's a concept I really think is going to take off in the future for all you pairs traders out there. So here's a few of the current pairs that UMA have got at the moment. So you can trade things like the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, which you can't even do that on many exchanges, but you can now trade that as an actual token. A few of the layer 2 technologies, Raiden, Loopring, I've spoken about a lot. So they've got Loopring Pay. What this does is basically you deposit into a second layer, and that does cost a little bit in gas fees. But once you've got that Loopring Pay system set up, then every payment you make after that is, 1,000th of the cost of a normal Ethereum transaction. Now, Loopring have also got their exchange, so you can actually do your trading using Loopring. So this is a second layer solution, so the fees are going to be way, way cheaper. Rails, another project that came out this week that's using the Loopring ZK technology just for payments. Sablia is one I've covered in the past, where you can actually stream payments. So you can choose to pay someone, $1 an hour for the next week, and it'll stream that payment to them. You can type in, nuggetsnews.eth. So putting all those little pieces together. This is the Synthetics' second layer. So they're about to move to optimistic rollups. So once they've on layer 2, instead of paying $10, $50 in gas fees to do all those funky things, this is like the updated version. It's like the iPhone 2 after the first iPhone, and we're hoping it's going to run way faster, and you won't even know what is running under the hood. Funfair, the casino, they've got their Fate Fair, their Fate channels, which is another scaling technology. Decentralised, I've had a play around with that the other day. But as you can start to see, you choose your different account up here that you might have for Decentralised, and that might have all your clothes and digital items and the land that you own in Decentralised in that account before you log in. Pool together, so this is the decentralized lottery where everyone wins because we all pool our funds in together. Let's say there's $100,000 in this pool of funds. it accrues interest over that 30 days, and then all the interest gets paid out to one winner. So it's like a decentralized lottery. So I've done a tutorial on that one if you like. Amisago launched their layer 2 network recently. That's on Bitfinex. You might have used it. I'm not going to talk about these too much. So these are just more second layers and token bridges. POA network, StakeNet. This is using Raiden. So this is an inbuilt exchange and wallet using the Raiden network. That's called StakeNet. This is the XDAI sidechain. So this is like a layer where you can go from Ethereum to the XDAI chain to send payments of DAI, but also to mint some artwork like I did yesterday on Twitter, you might have seen. And what these are running on are the new Reddit tokens. So you might have heard that the crypto subreddit are paying users out in these tokens. So at the moment, I've got 1,000 moons that I haven't claimed yet. And we can actually, by using the Uniswap exchange and this XDAI bridge, we can sell our moons for real money. And I'm not going to go into that today. There's a step-by-step on how to do that on the crypto subreddit. But basically, this is an example of when you would need to send DAI and change that over to XDAI. And then up here, you'd go from the Ethereum mainnet down to the XDAI network. And this, you've got to add that as a custom network. Again, all the instructions are there on how to do that. But these are the Ethereum testnets. So where the Ethereum developers test out all their stuff here, they just click on this instead of being on the main Ethereum network. And what I would just say is when I'm on that network, my address stays the same and I've got the same private keys. It's all matched. So that's important to understand there as well. This is the Keep network. So this is another way for you to get your Bitcoin over to Ethereum with the TBTC website. RAN protocol, the other guys that I mentioned at the start of the episode, so using their protocol, you can get your Bitcoin over to Ethereum using their bridges. I won't show you that. We are running short on time. I want to churn through this. So this is the wrapped Bitcoin here. Basically, you send your Bitcoin in. The nodes, I guess, hold on to that for you, and it generates this WBTC asset, which is an Ethereum token. Nexus Mutual. Okay, so this one is if you want to buy the actual NXM token, this is a security token. You'll need to sign up and register. If you don't want to do that, like I showed before, you can just go over to Uniswap and buy the wrapped Nexus Mutual token. Now, over at Nexus Mutual, what you can do is get a quote and say, well, how much is it going to cost me to get some insurance for the funds that I've got currently in let's say, Aave or Compound that are earning interest. I want to buy some cover. I want to buy some insurance for those funds, and that's where you can do that. You could also stake your assets and say, hey, I'm happy that Compound isn't going to get hacked, and put in your Nexus Mutual to basically insure those funds, and you earn a high reward for doing that. And the first project to basically incentivize that recently was the Keep project. So they're basically paying you Keep tokens as rewards, as well as Nexus Mutual paying you rewards if you come over and help insure the Keep protocol. So we've got shield farming. It's going to be the next craze after yield farming. Augur is a decentralized prediction market. So basically, this one didn't take off all that much. What we did have, though, was another, again, layers that build on top of Augur. So this is the Omen network that uses Augur. And you can see the prediction markets here. So I'm surprised we don't have more about the election politics. So will Joe Biden win the election? 58% yes. Will Kanye win the election? 98% no. So basically, yeah, you can just bet on these with Ethereum or DAI. And it's just a decentralized prediction market. into the NFT world. So this is where I made some artwork the other day. So this is nifty.inc, and this one actually only runs on the XDAI sidechain. So you've got to, like we said before, click on this to go over and interact and to create your own assets. And now if you're an advanced user, you can actually get those assets back to the Ethereum mainnet like I did today, and you can list them on different marketplaces. So Rarible is a decentralized NFT marketplace where you get the Rari token, get the governance token as rewards for those that are using it. OpenSea is probably the most popular one where all these assets get listed. I'm not sure if you guys saw today that I kind of jokingly made those Nuggets news NFTs yesterday, and one of them sold for $400 overnight, which I was a bit surprised about. So I put a little bit more effort into this one today, and someone's already offered me 700 Aussie dollars for it. But yeah, I only made 3, so it is rare. But yeah, this world blows my mind, and we've got an NFT show coming up tomorrow night. Super rare. So this is another marketplace where all the NFTs are one of one edition, so only rare items. And then we've got Red Fox Labs and a few of these other projects I just wanted to mention quickly that are going to be having bridges. So you'll be able to go from one ecosystem to the other. We've seen Wax talk about their new tokenomics coming soon, so I think they're doing a bridge. Protocols like Thorchain, which are trying to have liquidity across multiple different networks. The Serum network are trying to do that at the moment that FTX have launched. Last couple here, Block Native. So this is almost like a blockchain explorer to explore what's happening in the mempool. So if we can see that everyone is about to buy Synthetics token, then maybe people could front run that. So this is like almost like a Google search of what is happening in the mempool, all the transactions that are about to get confirmed. So that's a really cool idea, really cool concept. But that's basically it, guys. So that is the overview of how you interact with it. It really is all about getting your head around those concepts of MetaMask, the blockchain explorer, how those transactions work. And hopefully you've enjoyed that. I know that's run a really long time, so I'm going to wrap it up there. But yeah, well, let me know what other things you want covered in the comments down below. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that one, guys. All the free info over on the website, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.